notification that we're live yet, but I definitely put it that we're streaming. Let's see. Oh, I guess we're... let's see. Yeah, sorry guys, it seems to be a little bit of a delay. Just working through this.
You got a live feed on my screen.
Yeah, no, I can see it now. Just for some reason lately, it's, I don't know. There's a little bit of a delay in it. Okay, but here we go, guys. It looks like we're ready to get this party started. What's going on, guys? And welcome to the Xbox Roundtable Podcast. This is show number 207. Wow. Thanks for joining us tonight, as I know all my friends in the U.S. are winding down from their Thanksgiving festivities, all the meals, celebrations, whatever it may be. I'm a big turkey fan and whatnot, so if anybody has some extra stuffing, leftovers, turkey, hey, send it my way, all right? I'll hog it all. Anyways, this is Invader, and it's great to have you all here with us. We've got a bunch of good stuff to talk about tonight. Apparently, the Xbox Series X is killing it this weekend in sales. We'll get into that and all the Black Friday deals. Also, Halo Infinite has officially gone gold, so we'll talk some Halo, some good and some bad, more good probably, as well some more stuff. There's all kinds of stuff to talk about. However, first let me introduce everyone on the panel tonight, starting with Tim. Hey, Tim Dog Buddy, how you doing?
Hey, buddy, how you doing? I'm back again this week. Sorry about last week. Got caught up. As you guys know, sometimes I'm busy on Sundays, but we got a lot to talk about. Xbox fans should be happy. Definitely should be tuning into this show. Give you some insight and give you some good stuff to take home. So hopefully we get somebody too that's coming down. Possibly, I'm not gonna say it because you might not. It's just somebody in the community that we will like. And yeah, I'm excited. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to catch up.
Agreed, buddy. Agreed. Moving on down this General MLD Bud. Hey, how's the weekend been?
Hey, good to be here. Had a pretty good weekend, bouncing back between Halo, Forza, some backlog games like Saints Row 1. So yeah, we are spoiled for choice these days, I gotta say. But even more spoiled for news to talk about as well. Cannot wait to get into it. Should be good.
No doubt. I bet you have lots to say, my friend. Moving on down the list here, Centurion. Hey, how's things at your end?
Things are going great, man. It's been I actually got a couple days off from work, got some games in, definitely having a blast, recovering from all the food. Even though it's just me and my wife, she cooked like we were having 20 people come over.
Nice.
But man, went out into the world and watched all the crazy people try to go shopping and oh my gosh, man, you definitely know it's the holidays because people have lost their minds out there.
No doubt. That's why I kind of prefer to do the online stuff nowadays. When there's all those kinds of sales, whatever it be, Black Friday or here in Canada, Boxing Day sales. Like, I don't know, man. I just try to avoid like any of the big lines or all the crowds, etc. I don't know. It's a little too much at times. But
this year was a little different. They actually put a lot of stuff on sale like Sunday, Monday, and we're trying to do a majority of the big retailers out here. We're trying to kind of thin the herd a little bit by getting that people that just wanted these general purchases to come out and just buy just a couple things here and there. The only ones that are really a holdout for Black Friday were kind of like Walmart.
Oh, interesting. Good to know. Maybe they'll have some deals down, some better deals down the road. You never know. But moving on down the list, Eric Shockley, buddy. Hey, buddy, you set up and ready to go?
Yep, I've just been playing been trying to get as far as I can with the, forget what it's called, the event in Halo right now where you're having to play Fiesta.
Oh, the Tenrai?
To get that samurai armor.
The Tenrai or whatever?
Yeah, the Tenrai. I've been just trying to get the guy. At first, I wasn't sure like what challenges, but then I noticed like when you look at the little icon, it's like really small. Like, oh, okay, I need to get those challenges completed. But But yeah, hopefully, because it looks like they're doing like a challenge pretty much like once every month. At least for the next, you can see where they're going to do it January and February. So I hope they're going to do it for this whole season, like at least 1 week each month. So I might be able to get that, like the armor with the like devil horns. They looked pretty sweet, but because I got that first armor set, so I was happy I didn't like lose the chance of getting that before Monday or Tuesday when it resets. Rocking the what they call it, the Pepsi Samurai color right now, because it's weird how they do the colors where you can only apply certain colors to certain armor. I see that. That's definitely kind of a drawback. Like, there's only certain sets. I get it with the armor, because obviously the samurai armor matching that with like regular Mark IV armor would look really weird. But other than that, some of the complaints of like people looking the same, some of that's by choice, because I go into a room and everybody like has this like armor that looks exactly the same, that has like I think a higher skill. I think they have one of the higher skill colors that you have to like level up to even get. And a lot of them have the same armor. I'm like, mine looks completely different. I'm like, mine, I look like I'm like a, like the black sheep, because mine's just like a crazy looking, like, have that little Hello Kitty like emblem. Mine just looks ridiculous. But so they look like just like clones, or like, Star Wars clone soldiers.
Yeah.
And mine's just like some randomness out there. So it's like, if they're choosing to look the same, that's on them. There's definitely some options in there. But yeah, it is limited. But I think people are thinking they were looking at that one Halo Infinite multiplayer picture, and they're like, look at all that cool, sick armor. I can't unlock that in the first week or two. I'm pissed. I don't really get that. It's a free-to-play game. I get that people didn't want it to go free-to-play, but think about it. You don't have to pay $60 to play it now, and you don't have to pay another $60 for live. So they're literally saving you $120 that you don't have to pay anymore. So, it is what it is. Like, but for a free multiplayer, like, it's pretty dope. Like, the gameplay is rock solid, and I don't think it's too grindy, but we'll probably get into it. But that's what I've been trying to get as far as I could before that event went away. So,
well said, Eric. And we will touch on that. I mean, I I'm in between on what you're saying, but I totally get what you're saying. But yeah, we will touch on that later on. And to all the awesome folks that have just stumbled into the chat, don't forget to share this out and let everybody in the world know that TXR is live, and it's great for you all to be here. I already see some people. Thank you all for joining us this evening. Well, I think on that front, guys, let's get into the first topic. And you know what? We had a bunch of sales going on. Obviously, we were talking about Black Friday. And, for these sales, whether they be digital or physical, there's certainly a lot of good deals here to choose from. I've seen people picking up all kinds of different games or accessories and so on. Shockley, buddy, let's have some fun here. Did you pick up anything over the weekend, like any big discounts, or did anything really catch your eye?
I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I'm definitely eyeing the Mafia, because I never played any of them. Mafia Trilogy is only $29. It gets you their definitive, like the one they really went in there and like retouched up the first one.
Dude.
And then the second one, which wasn't a huge bump up, but it's still improvements from the original. It's just not like, if you were buying that only, it was kind of a money grab. But thrown into this bundle for $30 plus Mafia 3. I'm probably definitely going to make sure I don't miss that for $30.
Well, to be honest, I haven't played Mafia 3, but I adored Mafia 2, and Mafia 1's pretty good, but man, Mafia 2, lots of personality there. I really liked it a lot. So
Mafia 3 was an excellent game. Takes place in the time period just after the Vietnam War, when the game touches very, very heavily on what it was like for a colored person during that time period, and they put a lot of effort into crafting a very well put together story. I actually enjoyed Mafia 3. Mafia 3 was the reason why I bought that collection, because I still want to play Mafia 1 and 2 because I just had so much fun with Mafia 3.
Oh yeah. And I've been watching The Sopranos for the first time, starting the past 2 weeks, so it's got me into that, mob, thing going on right now. So, but yeah, other than that, I've been trying to eye some of the backwards compatible titles, which it's annoying that they haven't added the 70-ish backwards compatible titles in the backwards compatible section. It still says, 576, but they didn't add the other ones in there. So that's kind of annoying when I just want to look them up and see if one of them got like a sale. But I've been trying to eye some of those, but it looks like they haven't. But I'm trying to pull the trigger because they keep disappearing. Like Fear 3, just like, hey, we added it. It's digital. Oh, now it's not. Like, no warning. But so I'm like, shit, which one am I gotta get some of these before they start pulling them? Like, I could see the Togi games just like, yeah, they're just obscure From Software, Sega mashup. We'll just pull those off the store too. So I'm just like wanting to get them all, but like, yeah, they're kind of expensive.
Yeah,
but
to
not
be
as
fair,
expensive if you got the discs. But.
To be fair, that is pretty annoying that they pulled some stuff. I would like to see that on, get rectified, because Fear 3, I mean, you announced that it would be nice for it to be put back on the store, make it a little easier, because right now people are diving through bargain bins right now looking for these games.
Yeah, I somehow scored it at my local game store for like $15, so I was like, sweet, because that thing is going for $90.
Bargain bins, man. I've been having to put my Indiana Jones cap on and start like going on Google and calling every ma and pa freaking game store and their grandmother that actually sells retro games to actually try to track these things down.
Yeah, try to track down that 50-cent blood on the sand that's going for like $300, $400.
Oh, dude, I actually got my eyes out to stumble across that thing just to be like, hey, I scored a copy. Does anybody want to pay a normal price for it?
Yeah,
that thing's going nuts.
Yeah, I need to pick up a copy of the original Fear. I have Fear 2 and Fear 3, but man, original one's hard to find. And what's kicking me in the nuts too is that I used to own it. I don't know what happened to it.
That shouldn't be too bad because it was a platinum hit, so it had to have sold a decent amount of copies. Yeah, it's like $6 when I got it. Just at least it was the disc only from GameStop, but it was only $6. So it's still pretty cheap on their website, so I think you can get it pretty easily. The other two didn't sell it near as much, so those are definitely going to be harder to get. You're less likely to see those, but other than that, I've been looking at Valhalla and a few others, but just haven't decided to pull the trigger. But other than that, the Black Friday sale, that's definitely great for. I know people are trying to downplay the Series S, like, oh, well, it was the only one in stock. I'm like, well, then I guess it wasn't really stupid of them not to make it. Like, people are saying, like, it was what was the point of it? I'm like, it seems easier to produce, and that's just still another console. Whether or not, a lot of these people that are trying to say, oh, these kids are going to be so upset. Again, I think, back on the original Xbox or back in those days, like, were you like, oh, is this game 60 frames per second? Is this 4K? Is this, am I playing progressive scan 480p? No, because most of us just were using composite there. We didn't give a shit because we played on composite. And if you compare what composite is to what you could have been playing, what people in Europe were playing because they had a connection called SCART that could pass through easily, S-video or, higher end. When you look how bad our picture was compared to some other countries that had it easier, like, we obviously didn't really give a shit when we were kids, so I'm sure a lot of other kids today also won't give a shit. So when their parent gives them a $300 Series S and Game Pass subscription, they're going to say, okay, this is pretty lit. There's a ton of shit on here to play. Even new games, Scarlet Nexus, like, there's awesome shit in there. So and it gets more people in their ecosystem. Hey, if you can't keep PS5s in stock because scalpers are grabbing them up, and probably scalpers are starting to not grab up Series S's, well, then guess what? That's where consumers are actually be able to get their hands on them. So if that helps, grow Game Pass and their subscription, like, that's a win-win. So that's definitely good for them. Plus, it's getting like news rounds because people are going to be saying it on the news or, just things in general when they're like, oh, what's this hot item? Yeah, people trying to get the
Yeah.
PS5, but oh, there's this Series S was selling like, it's going to get buzz because it's the only thing in stock when people need something under the tree and they're like, oh, it is a new next gen. Yeah, we got you right here. You can play those next gen games. Okay, $300 sounds like a deal. So if it's like in football, the best availability or best ability is availability. Like if it's not available, then sorry. So I mean, it's definitely big for them to get this press and maybe get some momentum. Could have more months where it's the hottest item. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
at
Well,
least in the states.
well, again, these chip shortages are gonna be going on for a while. Like
Yeah, say until next year now. I spoke to somebody tonight on the subject, and it was, remember, it was supposed to be early 2022. I can't believe we're in 2022 going to.
yeah.
But yeah, it was like, oh, early 2022. No, the last I heard was next 2023. And when
Mhm.
you're talking about new variants and all the crap that's going on, uh, bank on 2023.
Mhm.
But I think in this case, we're gonna go in. We could talk about the shortages and stuff, and this whole S thing, right? Is that the subject we're on right now?
Yeah, we're talking
Oh,
about this.
okay. So because I don't want to, sabotage on the subject, but okay. So in this situation, I think that a couple things come into play, and this is you could take this to the bank as being true. To produce an Xbox Series X, it takes the same material to produce an Xbox Series X 2 times for one S. So every S that's made, you can basically have two S's made for the same silicon as one Series X. And this is the thing that Xbox has been debating for a while. So I know as of last month they were looking at this, and it looks like they said, let's make a play, just what Shockley was talking about, and said, let's make a play. And I think they prioritized the yes. And this is a case where they basically played it right, and it looks like they're getting exactly what they wanted. And believe it or not, it's the Game Pass subscriber as much as the console itself that they care more about the Game Pass subscriber. So if they had said, let's make 1 million Xbox Series S's instead of 500, or we can make 500 X's. Now both are going to sell out. One's going to sell out at 500, one's going to sell out at 300. But it seems to have made the assumption that say, hey, Halo's out, Forza's out. We have to have readily available Xbox Series S's, and that's what's happened here, and that's why. And it seems like it paid off in gold because VGC reports from an Adobe. I think they basically surveyed 1,000 shoppers, and the most sought out item was Xbox Series S, and that includes Switch OLED and PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X. So they're in a position now where I think they're going to win NPD, the unit sales. They might not win the revenue, but I do think that it's a pretty safe bet that they're going to take, at least for NPD, for the sales for Series S. And I don't think anybody expected that. I remember that guy from, I think he's from VGC, Chris Dreyer, or I don't know his name exactly, but he was saying there's no way that Xbox can win. And I think what Xbox has done here is that they've defied the odds. They made a bet, and it paid off. And it looks like Xbox Series S is flying off the shelves, and they're in ready demand. And obviously, if you want an X, you're kind of out of luck. You can still get them, but right now, if you want an S, you can tomorrow wake up and go to the store. And that puts Xbox in a very powerful position because the same can't be said for PlayStation 5. They're in the same situation as the X is. It's like you throw out your console and you can't meet the demand. Where S is basically meeting demand and even in some cases exceeding it. And that's a huge thing for Xbox. So I think that they played their cards right here, and I think Phil probably is one of the guys that is right behind this because, like I said, I remember this being talked about. That they had a big decision what they're gonna go and how they're gonna prioritize and what they're gonna go with, and I think that they made the right choice. And I was talking to Rand before on the phone, and it's like whatever they did last gen seemed to fail or fall on its face. But it's like the exact opposite this gen already starting. Like anything that they've been doing and some of its risks, it's coming up flying colors. And, I really, as an Xbox fan, it's a great time. It's great to see all these people getting Xboxes. And listen, if you're a PlayStation 5 guy and, you love to play PlayStation, but you just can't get it, and then you say, hey, I like Halo and I could see this other console. Xbox is basically taking that customer right now and they're playing Xbox, they're playing Halo, and that's where you can start to eat away, at consumers. There was a big gap. At one time, Xbox was, the most popular console, and obviously it's after the last generation getting their asses kicked so bad, it became not as popular, and you could even say 2-1. So there's a lot of people to take back, and I just think that I actually think the shortages right now are benefiting Xbox because they can do something like this. They can prioritize a cheaper SKU and they can they could basically, sell it to the masses and hold demand and keep up with it because they're at the end of the day, they're saying Xbox, Series X, you're still going to be sold, but you're going to be taking a back seat right now. And listen, how could you really say they're doing the wrong thing? I mean, they might reevaluate at the end of the year, but it looks like this holiday, they might have locked it up, or they have at least got themselves in the position where they're in the talk of winning or having the best holiday. Where as of 2 months ago, it was like, oh no, there's no way that they can do this. So I just have to say they flipped the script and they've made some really smart moves. And if the shortages continue, I can honestly see why they always said that the S was going to sell. When we get to the point when the shortages are over and we're selling console for console. The problem is at that point now that the console's been out there for 3 years or 2.5 years, and you're seeing a 199 Series S out there. I mean, when you get to that price point, that's a sweet spot. Forget about it. So, just like I said, very positive things going on with Microsoft right now. Xbox is absolutely killing it, and I think that they're right now in the process of making up some ground.
Well said, Tim. Go ahead, Centurion.
If I can add on real quick. Excuse me. I remember when many moons ago, I was getting people turning and looking at me sideways when I said that these shortages were going to be extreme and extremely long. And that's where at least the products that I help distribute out into the world, they're made of steel and wood. They're not made out of precious materials and silicone that are extremely harder to produce. We're talking about products that are made out of steel and wood. Before pre-pandemic, pre-pandemic, my God, it took about 12 to 14 weeks to produce a unit. Right now, depending on the unit you want, it doesn't matter how much money you have in your pocket or how desperate you are. it could take anywhere from 8 to 12 months to produce a unit. That is how extreme product shortages are in my industry. And the other problem is, now this is where I'm actually championing both Sony and Xbox for the fact that they have not raised the price of these consoles. I know everybody wants them to lower the prices eventually. I really don't know what the outlook on that is going to be, because in my industry, aluminum products have soared almost 300%. And a lot of these components in these consoles fall into non-ferrous metals like aluminum, and I haven't seen no price jumps on these consoles, which I think is really cool. These companies, both Sony and Microsoft, are absorbing the cost it takes to get these materials, because one of the units that we build, the entire outside of the frame is covered in aluminum sheeting, and that material has become so hard to get a hold of that the minute one supplier gets used up and that supplier is like, yeah, we don't got no more material, you move on to the next supplier. And the only reason why that supplier still has materials is because they had a higher price. You don't go to the guy who always has the highest price. You always go to the lowest bidder, as it's called. And that's why with some companies, I have seen almost a 60 to 70% increase in what it takes to create that model now. And it's pretty crazy. It's pretty bad. And that's why I was always saying, if you can get a hold of these consoles, get them now, because the production was going to be completely screwed. And I love how Tim Dog broke it down on how that the PS5 and the Xbox Series X require a lot more materials in their production, almost twice as much as the Series S. And yeah, Microsoft made one heck of a power play. And the other thing is, too, Microsoft is definitely pulling some strings here to get these consoles into the economies as quickly as they can, because we're talking these companies are paying airplanes, helicopters. They're going outside of normal means of transport across this world, because the average time a piece of retail material spends on the ocean is about 2 to 3 months. From the moment it's loaded on the boat, the port where it's going to leave from to come to the United States, it takes about 2 to 3 months for that product to reach where it needs to go to be sold. And it's even worse now. So definitely, I give kudos to both Sony and Xbox for trying to do everything they can to at least put something on the shelves this holiday season.
Well said. And the thing about Xbox too is, over the past couple of years, this is what they've been building up for. They have this cheaper SKU. Again, like, who would have thought we would have been in this situation, especially for the amount of time that we have. But the price helps with the Series S. Game Pass as a whole, again, the barrier to entry for a huge library of games is just right there. And not only that, but you look at the holiday season lineup. Obviously, Forza Horizon 5 just got released a few weeks ago, and it is doing insane numbers. Apparently, it's one of the best-selling games for Xbox ever, from what I'm to understand. And you got one of the largest gaming IP with Halo Infinite coming out in 2 weeks from now. So, they're killing it right now. They really are. Not to mention the games that are stacked to come next year and so on. It's amazing. Like, it's a multi-pronged attack by Xbox. And like Tim was saying, a couple of years ago, who would have thought that we'd be talking about Xbox like this? Because the situation back 2016, 17, it wasn't looking very good, and now it's like, we're so hopeful, we're so happy. It's amazing the turnaround. So, but when I look at the Series S here, I mean, that's fantastic. It's fantastic. That's doing well. And they happened to gamble correctly with, again, making the cheaper SKU, and it paid off. Guys, it's funny about social media too, right? Because I remember when the Series S was announced, people were talking, what's Xbox doing with this Series S? It's so much cheaper, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's going to buy it.
People were going to be completely confused. They weren't going to know what to buy.
Yeah, exactly. but. And let's see. Oh, we have somebody joining us here, and oh, look who it is, Southbound. Hey, buddy, how you doing over there?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? How's everybody been?
Yeah, doing well, buddy. It's great to have you here.
What's up?
Hey, Southie's in his house. How's
It's
everything
a
been
Southie
good?
corn. It's a Southie corn.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, man, just thought I'd pop in, say what's up to everybody, see how everybody's doing, feeling that little Xbox love, for the holiday spirit, just like I said, thought I'd pop in and, check in and see what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, we're just talking about like the Black Friday deals and how the Xbox Series S is killing it right now for Xbox. Apparently, it's like that's what everybody's been buying this weekend. Have you been picking up anything this past week or so? Like any good sales?
You know what? I honestly haven't got any sales. I trip out because everybody's still like fighting to buy the PlayStation and the Xbox, Series X. Well, it's crazy. They're you go on eBay and they're double the price, and it's a year later. What the hell's going on? So yeah, I understand how the S is very, very much in demand.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, man. Like the kind of sales, it's really cool, really cool. Guys, anybody have anything else to add to this? MLD, buddy, I don't know if you picked up anything or if you want to touch on the Series S is blowing the competition out of the water right now.
Oh yeah, I got some thoughts on this. Well, first off, I did buy the Metro Exodus with the DLC included for like $15 Canadian. That seemed to be like a really good deal to pass up.
Yes.
Like I beat it before, but I feel like going back to it again, like with the optimizations, and I'd never played the DLC before. So to anybody who hasn't played the Metro trilogy, like this, pick up Metro Exodus. Even if you're not going to play it right away, at least just buy it so it's there for when you want to, because it's a great deal right now. But that said, it just feels like the perfect storm right now, because unlike PlayStation, Xbox is also expanding into Steam and the Windows Store, and I'm sure those are doing record numbers with Age of Empires 4 and Forza and Halo being on top of the Steam charts when they launch. So that's amazing. But the Series S outselling on Black Friday, I think above all, it just sends a message that Xbox is here to compete. And like the most unlikely of console SKUs, like just came out on top. How its availability is a weapon that Xbox can and is using, and it's for everybody. Like it's for people with non 4K TVs, like core gamers who can't find a Series X or PS5 and just want in on next gen. You got the casual market that's finally starting to notice this stuff. You got parents buying it for their kids, and it's just great for Game Pass. I mean, I can go on and on and on. Like it's just Xbox is firing on all fronts. Even people on Twitter, I'm noticing, like PlayStation fans, primarily, they admit to having a Series X on the side. Like, it makes me smile how everyone from all camps of all walks of life are, they gotta get Xbox in some way, and even things like the Japan. Like I'm keeping track of the Japan weekly sales. Series S is largely the Xbox's weekly sales is almost on par with PS5 sales in Japan, largely due to the Series S. Like it's crazy. Like it's unprecedented times, and we are on a roll, and I love it. I cannot wait to see what happens in January. Hope they announce some numbers. Like it's very exciting right now.
Yeah, and I just love the commentary too on social media. It's like, oh, because again, all the smack talk about the Series S before, and now it's just like, oh, it's okay. I mean, it doesn't play, the games at like the best quality, but yeah, it's okay. Oh, come on, guys. The console's out there, it's available, and you can play brand new games from and you have all kinds of access to games through Game Pass. Like, quit complaining and just get on that. Like,
Nah, you hit the nail on the head, because it is available. Versus the other, higher tier version of the consoles, the S is available. So yeah, you got the casuals, the mothers, the parents. They know that they can get it for this Christmas or this Black Friday, Black Monday, whatever you have it. So yeah, like I said, it's available, and is it you get the S or nothing?
Right.
And of course, the PlayStation fans was like, oh, there's the only reason this top in the charts is because it's available. Well, no one tells you to buy it, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
I mean, listen, for the same amount of money, somebody brought this up to me too. Maybe a little bit more money, but nothing crazy. You can get an Xbox Series S. You can get a 43-inch 4K LCD. Nothing at 60 hertz. But still, you can get a 43-inch LCD, and let's say 3 months of Game Pass. For around the same money that you can get a PlayStation 5 and a Series X. So if you're a kid and you get that and that's your room setup, I don't think you're gonna complain. I don't think you're gonna be like, well, it's 4.2 flops, and you're gonna be like, give me Halo, let me get on Forza, let's play, one of these games in Game Pass. So the fact is that, like Sal said, it's readily available, and that's what Xbox I think got before when they had to make the decision on allocation. They kind of like said, let's make a play for it. And Americans and just buyers in general are impulsive. If you're not going to have, if you're going out to steak dinner and let's say a high end steak place is not available, but you still want steak, you're going to go to Outback's. And I think that the same thing is here is that you have an affordable option.
Hey,
And
don't be
people,
hating on Outback. That's good shit right
no,
there.
I'm
I
not hating on
agree.
Series S. No, but I'm saying, but you know what I mean? It's like, I think people are just like, screw these shortages. I want next gen, and for what it is, Xbox Series S is next gen. I have one myself, and yeah, does it not play games at 4K? Yeah, that it doesn't do that. But the SSD, the way it plays, backwards compatibility, all the things, the quick resume, all the things that you have there
Timmy, don't
make
forget the cloud
the
gaming.
cloud, yeah, the cloud gaming. Yeah, Xbox just they're hitting on all cylinders, like we both said, and we all said, and it's nice to see, just because South. I know we go way back. Last gen, it seemed like everything that they did and they tried
They
just
got
fell
kicked in
on
the
its
teeth for
face.
everything.
Everything. There wasn't one big real like moment where you felt good like about the. It was always something like it was always this or that, and now it just is like if you're trying to put
Hey,
down
hey, when
Xbox,
you think about it, Xbox is kind of like Captain America getting beat the hell out of him, but he keeps getting up. But I could do this all day.
yeah, yeah. But they've come back a long way, and man, like if they get through 2022, and I think that they'll do very well in 22, and then you get to 2023, and then the game faucet will be turned on to a point where I don't think we've ever seen. And I think that that's really when a lot of I think that's I just think this gen is looking very very up for Xbox, and it's just nice to see, just because of all the negativity and all the shit that they took last gen. It just seems like everything's flipped around, and they can't do any wrong, or they're doing things and it's turning up gold.
I
Mhm.
just want to also add the fact that a Series S can play Flight Simulator is nothing less than a miracle. Like
Mhm.
that
It's
game is
crazy,
so
yeah.
demanding.
Oh
It's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, considering how many discs those types of games usually take. Oh yeah, that is crazy. And just the amount of information being passed on the servers. Yeah, it's a monumental game, and the system for it to be able to handle that, that's again, uh Microsoft was just really smart the way that they went about the consoles, and they didn't screw around, and they're playing hardball this this generation. I'm really happy to see them being competitive. It's awesome. And you look where they are now, it's paying off. Um, but yeah, guys, I mean, either way, this is healthy. It's good, and I'm glad to see that again. Xbox is going strong in the holiday season, and hey, once Halo Infinite finally releases the campaign portion and whatnot, it's gonna get insane. I would love to read the NDP data for or MPD data for December when that arrives. Anyways, actually, you know what? Since we're talking about Halo, let's move on to some specific Halo talk. And I gotta say, I'm excited. I mean, we're about, what, 2 weeks away or so from Halo Infinite's launch, and it's officially gone gold, so, everything is basically good to go on that front. But as of right now, we're busy playing through the multiplayer beta. I'm enjoying it myself, but I'll admit I have some gripes with it. However, as of right now, a lot of people are on board with this title. A ton of people are enjoying it. It's shooting up the most played chart on Xbox, beating the likes of like Fortnite and Warzone, which is pretty crazy. Tim Bud, it's rare these days that a game can beat out those like heavy hitters. What do you think of the huge rise in the popularity?
I think Halo's back, and I think we always knew Halo had this potential, because of obviously what Halo's done throughout, when it's been, since it came out on OG Xbox, Halo Combat Evolved. But when I always felt that it had this power. I think that a lot of people here always felt it, but I think now it's just becoming a realization. Uh, and let's be honest. Progression aside, and the obvious complaints that people are lobbying at it, which are, I believe, fair. The game itself is it's a 10 of 10. I mean, it's just when you play it, you're drawn in. And I'm not a multiplayer guy, but when I turn on my Xbox, that's the first thing I'm playing. Not Forza, not anything else. It's the first thing I'm playing because the game experience that you get, the gameplay that you get, it's every time you play, it's deeply rewarding, or it's like, oh my god, it's crazy. Now, aside from the stuff like we talked about, the progression and the knocks against it, which all can be fixed, by the way, and it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of annoying to me. I don't really want to go on a rant about that, but I kind of feel like that's 343's fault, and if they don't fix it, that's on them. But aside from that, um, and the hardcore that goes in on that stuff, people love this game, and I don't see it stopping. I mean, I think December 8th, you're going to see a lot of records being broken. A lot of players. I mean, it's consistently the top three game played on Steam, and that's just one platform. You got to realize that you can play it on PC, Windows, or you can play it on Xbox. It's number one, like you said, on Xbox, being Fortnite and all these games. It's an absolute monster, and I have to agree with the way that they kind of like they did this November 15th deal. I think that they set themselves up where if there was if it wasn't released yet, I think there'd be a lot of anticipation, and people would be chomping at the bit, and I think that they would be looking at certain things differently, like Metacritic, versus to where it is now. I think that it already has solidified itself as a really fun game, and that's not going to go away no matter what. So when it launches, I believe it's going to be a huge launch, and I think that it's going to break records, and I do think it's going to be like the most played game on Xbox, or at least in the top five for a really long time. And I remember when Halo 5 came out and the multiplayer was great, but those numbers started to dip. I don't see that with this. I see that they've gotten so much numbers, and they've gotten that with a lot of things wrong with it, or annoying with it, or not fun about it, like the progression and the way that they handle things, and the way you can't get XP for being the best player on the map. Things that they can obviously fix, that when they get it right, and it's gonna come, I do think, because I do think that they're in the process of doing that. That this game is it's just gonna mow people down. Like it's just gonna mow other games down. I mean, this is what you're gonna be playing for a long time. Like I think the Halo multiplayer is gonna be played for a long time, and I think the campaign will be good, and I think everything. I think it's gonna be it's huge. But we all knew that Halo was that name, and I think now it's just proving itself. It's kind of just rebirthed itself, and it's again positive Xbox podcast, but it's just really nice to see because I heard by so many people that 343 sucked and that they shouldn't be making this the game and that they'll never do this. I think that they, despite the rocky development and everything that went on for it, I think that they have Xbox happy, and they're in a position to really have this game be played for the next, whatever they say 10 years. Let's say it's even 5 years. Even if it's 5 years, if they do that, that's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, and I totally agree, Tim. Like the gameplay is phenomenal with the multiplayer. I'm enjoying every part of it, whether it be just the gunfights or using the vehicles. I think the maps are, for the most part, pretty fantastic. I'm having a lot of fun. Some of the most fun I've had since maybe Halo 3, and that was like my heyday in Halo. So that goes back a long, long time. But again, there are some gripes that I think there's, people are, do have the right to complain to 343 about. The XP situation, they gotta fix it. I mean, I know some people on the panel are gonna have a different opinion on it, but I don't know. To me, I'm taking a little while to level up. And it's kind of annoying personally. I would like to earn some XP for different things that I do in a game and so on. So I think we could be rewarded a little more that way. That, and in my opinion, they gotta do something about the cores, like the armor, like the cores when they're attached to like the colors and so on, because the customization is a little bit limited, especially like when you see, I don't know if anybody's had like a bot match and whatnot, but you see like the bots, they're able to like mix and match like the different cores and the colors and so on, and that's what's really ticking people off. So I really hope that they get that adjusted. At the same time, guys, don't get on like, start harassing 343 and sending like negative comments. I understand the frustration going on, and I'm kind of confused with a few things as well. But, speak to them civilly. Don't go, screeching at them. They are listening. They are.
Yeah, can I say something real quick?
Yeah,
though?
go ahead, bud.
Well, remember, this is still the beta.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the full game. It's the beta. So people are going to complain, and a lot of people are going to be unhappy. Some people are going to be, it's like with every game. I think my biggest gripe, and it doesn't even have anything to do with the game. It was the time that they brought out the beta. Forza Horizon just barely came out. They didn't even give themselves a chance to let that sink in, and then boom, here you go, Halo beta. I thought that was it kind of threw me for a loop. Like, why would you, like, literally a week later bring out, arguably the biggest game, in their history, instead of riding the wave that Forza was on. They were just bragging how it was the biggest, release they've ever had. Everybody was happy, Mexico, and then all of a sudden, here we go, next week, Halo. I didn't understand that.
I think it was to combat Battlefield and Call of Duty missteps. Like, they had a very small window. I mean, this is just my theory. The window to like counter that was so small. I feel like the beta was perfectly timed, and now you got a lot of Battlefield people playing Halo now. Call of Duty numbers are dropping year over year. Halo capitalized on their mistakes and now is benefiting from it. But I totally see what you mean. I mean, I'm bouncing back and forth between Forza and Halo, but 100%. If Halo didn't come out, the beta didn't come out, I'd probably be playing more Forza. So I do see what you're saying too. I guess it's a double-edged sword.
Right. And it wasn't just on a whim, obviously. They had thought about this for months and months and months ahead of time. So, yeah, like I said, me personally, I would let Forza, have it shine for, at least three weeks to a month. But, Yeah, you make a good point. Call of Duty, it's definitely not what it used to be.
Mm.
I don't personally, I don't play it anymore. I haven't bought it the last couple of years. It's just rinse and repeat, and then okay, there's zombies. It just to me, it just got so repetitive and blasé. I gave up.
That's true. And these games too, like Call of Duty, Battlefield, like they're getting a lot of flack now for just not being in a proper release day form with all kinds of different. We see it all online, all through social media. Different people making fun of different things, and just people complaining about the content that comes with the game and then stuff not being ready. I mean, obviously some things with Halo won't be ready, but at least the campaign and the multiplayer is there, like key components. Call of Duty, yeah, I don't know, it's not looking too good. And then Battlefield is looking like like a glitch fest, a bug fest, and people are complaining about the content there as well. And even Battlefield, they had like an extra year of development time, and it seems to have less content than Battlefield 5, for crying out loud. So it's odd, man. We're in odd times.
Remember when Call of Duty was the big king on block, and everyone was just
Yeah.
scared to even they were scared to even open up in the same month as Call of Duty. Now everyone's like, all right, yeah,
You know what?
go ahead, go ahead, COD, come out. We got some,
Yeah.
Ubisoft is not afraid. Obviously Microsoft's not afraid. Just Call of Duty is not what it used to be.
You know what? And it's funny that you say that because it is true. But that was kind of lingering this year. Like I remember saying that I think Halo is going to kind of hit Call of Duty on a time where it's lukewarm received, or listen, Call of Duty's been, how big has it been for how long?
Well, we're talking 15 years.
Yeah.
I think it really got watered down when they opened up the third development team. To keep it on a cycle.
Right.
If they would have kept it at 2 and then they skipped a year, I think it would
Yeah.
have been more fresh.
Agreed.
Where they had better ideas.
They need like a they need to
They
take a
needed
little
Assassin's
time off.
Creed hold. Remember when
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed was getting
Yes.
real repetitive, and everyone's like,
Yes.
yeah, I got it, and what happened to it? They don't pay off the lore, and because a lot of people like the lore of
Mhm.
Assassin's Creed. When it started skipping that,
Yeah,
then
you're
people were
right.
complaining. So it was the same thing with like the zombies, in Call of Duty. They're not as thought out and fun, frankly, as it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Call of Duty had a huge run, and I don't think it's going to go away. They just
Oh,
need to
definitely.
readjust. But Battlefield, man, they're clowning that game now. Like I saw Farming Simulator was like had more active players than it, and now just that game just came out. But like it looks like Halo is really has the platform to itself, and um, they hit it right. And again, like I said, this was type of stuff that would happen the opposite. Whether it be Sunset Overdrive, releasing, and it got I think Fallout was the game that destroyed it. Some game that destroyed it in the same week. Like this, Xbox has been getting a little bit of luck here. And I bought Vanguard and I bought Battlefield, but man, I haven't even installed it. I'm at the point where if I can get a couple of hours when I have free time to play Halo, I'm happy. And and I hate to say it, that's a million people. Like millions of people are like that. They only play one game, and at the moment, you know what I mean? Like they extend either. I remember you, South, used to play Destiny all the time.
Oh
That
yeah.
was, and I feel like Halo has that grip, or it's going to get that grip. Obviously, like you said, it's still in a beta, so we are being a little bit harsh, I do think. And I do think that when it comes out of beta, I do think that they could really fix some of the stuff that people are complaining about very easily. Be generous.
This
People,
Halo has the opportunity to be the biggest Halo ever, and that's
yeah,
saying a lot. That's saying a lot. Game Pass, is obviously going to help it, but
right.
yeah,
And free
Halo's
to
just
play,
it's gonna
free to
yeah,
play.
Halo's just going to kill it, bar none.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as another complaint that's lobbying at it, I don't give a shit about cosmetics. Listen, yeah, is it cool and does it look good? But I don't care if their storefront is stupidly priced. Should it be cheaper? Yeah, I always disagree with pricing on the storefronts of free to play games. They're always absurd. But listen, if as long as you're not better than me because you buy something, I have zero problem with cosmetics. And I just think that people these days are so hung up on like visual perks or whatever that they get so crazy about this stuff. I mean, I had this one guy, a friend of mine on Twitter. He's like, "Halo's dead to me. $1,000 for the whole thing." I'm like, bro, it's cosmetics. I'm like, he's like, I just hate that they would do this and that, and like he's actively hating the game.
You don't have to buy it if you don't want to. That's just that's an option.
Like,
you're getting the game basically for free.
They act like it's life or death if I have some samurai armor and you don't. Like,
some people are gonna complain regardless. You know that, Timmy. How long we been banging the Xbox chest for years?
Yeah.
We've got our teeth kicked in more than one time. And it's like people are gonna complain just to complain.
Yeah. You're right. But
the gameplay will speak for itself.
And
and like I said, it's gonna kill it.
I think that's what's happening is that we have all these complaints and everyone's saying they hate it and this and that, but you look at the numbers and you're like, holy shit, it's 160,000 again on Steam. It's this is just one platform. It's the top played game on Xbox, beating Fortnite and Apex Legends and all these other games that that you would never think that would happen. And the game hasn't even released yet. There's going to be an influx of people that buy the game just for the campaign, that it'll be like, hey, I want to play a multiplayer. That's going to be another flush of players that are going to hit it. So I mean, it's just crazy times right now. And Halo's back, man. It's back, and hopefully Call of Duty and Battlefields, they, as Sal said, just take a break, man. I mean, just 1 year or 2 years, gamers will be freaking. Imagine not having Call of Duty for 2 years and it's coming out and say 2023, holiday 2023, people would be going nuts.
Well, it's the old adage, give them something to like care about and to yearn for.
The heart, right?
Exactly. What they say, what's the fondness, whatever.
So I remember going through that with girls back in the day when like you go through a breakup, right. And all of a sudden it's like, hey, remember, bro, absence makes the heart fonder.
There you go. That's the phrase I was looking for. Thanks for the save.
Oh man, no, and you guys make some great points, and I think Halo, Halo's gonna kick ass this, it's already kicking ass, really. But imagine when the campaign drops. There has been a lot of flack, and I agree. Like, the gameplay speaks for itself. It's awesome. I just, there are a few things I would like to know. There's no with the progression system. There's no ranking system, and I wish that we could get XP for a few things.
There is a ranking on the ranked, it's ranking me. Well, it's ranking you in a tier. What's your level of what group you're in as far as skill.
Yeah, true, but even they have social ones back in the day too, right? So social ranks and so on. It just, again, I'm just curious about a few things. But again, guys, it's still technically in a multiplayer beta, so I will give them the benefit of the doubt and give them time. There might be a few things on December 8th that we don't know about and so on, and new additions, and hopefully they get some new game types and so on. There's a lot more there, like zombies, for example, infection. Now, I like to see that, and a few other added modes. Let's see, a couple of people have been quiet here. Centurion, buddy, chime in. What, again, Halo's pretty damn popular. I mean, do you think it's going to keep it up?
I really do think the hype is gonna stay up for it. We're gonna see more people definitely start playing the game when the campaign comes out. That's just gonna reinvigorate all the hype once again at the beginning of December here on the 8th. I can understand people's gripes about the grind. I've even thought a little bit about like when I've played the game here and there, going, man, I'm only a level 2. This is like definitely they make you earn every little piece of armor. But at the end of the day, I remember when playing Halo 3 back in the day, it wasn't about the grind for skins and the coloring, whatever they're called. Forgive me, the name slips me right now. But I remember on Halo 3, it was more about just achieving the rank, honestly, of like, I remember those little medals where you'd start off like as a private second class, then you'd get into being a sergeant, then you'd get into lieutenant, and then after a while you'd start getting into stars. That was honestly the only grind I could think of that was in Halo 3.
It's their version of the prestige, from Call of Duty. That's all it is.
Yeah, and that's where I'm not going to fault 343 for doing what is common practice, especially in free-to-play games. I don't have the numbers on Fortnite, but I'm pretty sure to buy all the content in Fortnite since it first came out is pretty damn expensive. Same with Call of Duty. They're always releasing some kind of content pack for weapon skins and little charms to hang on your gun. I'm going to be upfront. At least Halo isn't doing the charm thing. I always thought the charm thing was a little funny because it's like, when you're playing the game, do you really see the charm on someone's gun? Generally, it's so fast-paced, you don't really see that. That charm is only there for the person honestly playing that character. But with the Halo, I mean, you're seeing people running around with all sorts of improvements to their armor, different colors, skins on their weapons. For me, it's just that old school Halo feel of just running amok and just mowing people down and giving them a good old fashioned melee to finish the job. Dude, playing with 108 Dragons, I mean, Lemon, play with him if you ever get the chance. That guy is whooping and hollering and just having a blast. I never had so much fun playing Halo.
That man's excitement is infectious.
Oh, dude, for real. I mean, exactly. And the fact that he is such a big sport, too, because we started off with some people that haven't played Halo in a long time. Some of them gave up on Halo, never even did Halo 5, really. They kind of gave up on 4. And so some of the players that we were playing with in this giant, the day it came out, Lemon hit me up, and by that time we were like a full 12 people deep in a party, and we brought some people in that hadn't played Halo in a while, and we just had a good time playing against each other. I mean, there's some groups out there that you can't play competitively with friends because they'll get pretty competitive and actually start getting some negativity going, but it was nothing but good fun playing with him. And then we moved on to big team battles against the actual people in the server. And I mean, to hear Lemon screaming at the top of his lungs going, "Let's go," that right there was a moment. And fun times with Halo. That I'm happy to see the King of Shooters is back, in my opinion. Halo has definitely got itself a strong position to be pretty much the shooter of 2021 and hopefully 2022, because I'm going to be upfront, man. Like, I already saw DICE kind of debacle Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2, pretty much the last game like this that DICE did. And now we've got Battlefield 2042 that isn't doing too well. I saw a GIF online that had me laugh so hard. It was a guy that put out, I had 2 copies of Battlefield 2042 on my car seat. Somebody broke into my car and left 2 more. That made me actually chuckle at that one. And then dude, there's a lot of problems in the house of Activision alone, and everybody was already fed up with what was going on with the Call of Duty franchise. There is just an avalanche of problems that are facing Call of Duty right now. I'm very curious on what the future of Call of Duty is going to look like here next year. Are they going to release another title? Are they going to hold it back? Because in my opinion, I think they've got bigger issues to solve than trying to force feed another Call of Duty title out. Definitely though, when it comes to Halo, there is room for improvement. the developers have come out on Twitter saying that they are listening to player feedback. It's not like they're completely walled off saying that this is what you get, it is what it is. They are taking everything into consideration. They are planning to make adjustments. I feel like in the long run that they're going to do a very good job, and I'm totally excited for the future of what Halo has to bring. And we haven't even got to the campaign yet. The campaign, I'm hoping we're going to get that main campaign, and then ever so often we're going to get like a content drop to make that campaign even longer, because I feel like they want at least the single player experience to be just as exciting and long-lived as the multiplayer experience.
Damn, well said, Centurion. Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct on that. Yeah, no, I have high hopes for Halo, as I said, and damn, like I'm always itching to get back into the multiplayer. Eric Shockley, buddy, I know that you had touched on this a little bit earlier, but hey, what do you think about like Halo's popularity here? I mean, is this something that you think is going to be a long-term success?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like that's the thing about the game. Even with the complaints, is the gameplay is just top tier. So I mean, the cosmetics. That's the great thing, is that it is cosmetic based. Because I remember what Battlefront 2 tried to do is like it was literally pay to win. They used loot boxes to do it, but if you had a bunch of money you just wanted to spend, you could have a much better shot of getting those hero people, or just unlocking those upgrades that make you a way better player. And same thing with like Battlefield. Like they have a long grind to get to some of the good weapons that improve your skill. So I don't understand like the people that are getting like, so I get the gripes that are legit are, hey, why can't I just choose capture the flag? Like, why can't I just choose a certain game type? That's legitimate. I'm not sure what their thought process was just to make it random, because it is causing some people to just like quit, because they're doing a challenge, and one of the challenges is like play 3 control matches. Well, if I'm trying to complete that challenge and I start and I don't get the control, then a lot of people are just like quitting out. Not a lot. You might see like 1 or 2 people leave, but that is happening. But that they could definitely address. I don't know. The only thing I could see why they maybe did that was because maybe some of those playlists it would take longer to fill a room. So if it's random, you're kind of forced into it. So it gets people in the matches quicker, maybe. But still probably not the right way to go about it. But otherwise, I think the microtransactions, I don't think the whole thing with like 1,000, but I don't think it's really that bad. Just because some of the cool stuff in there is free, like the samurai stuff, it's free. There is like 1 set of armor in the store that's like $20. But given that, again, you don't have to spend $120 for live and for the multiplayer this time around. I mean, there is a trade-off. So I get people. That's what it comes down to. Some people didn't want them to do free to play, wanted to pay $60, and then. But even then, with the whole challenge system, to think like Bungie wasn't going to go down this way, they already did it. If anyone that's played Destiny, people do this in their multiplayer. They'll give you challenges to complete a quest, and you have to go to the Crucible to do it. And they'll say, just do this. And I've gone to the Crucible and just done whatever I needed to do, not giving a rat's ass about the objective, just so I can complete it, because a lot of times I wasn't playing Crucible that much. So, I mean, Bungie definitely would have been no stranger to this. So unless they get rid of the challenges altogether, because that's one gripe of people just want XP-based purely, that's the only way you're going to get around like people like not playing. I mean, people don't play the objective anyway, because a lot of times people just want to like get their KD up, even in the Halo 4 days when it was just like XP based.
Somebody had to put out a thing on Twitter on how to the hold the skull thing. They actually put a thing out on Twitter showing people how to actually get points playing that match because people didn't understand that you had to hold the skull physically in your hands, which meant that you couldn't run around with your gun, and so people didn't want to play that objective.
It is pretty
I don't
annoying, though. Like, sorry not to intrude, but just
It's
like,
like no, it's like capture the flag. Like I don't understand why people didn't want to. Like people love capture the flag, but when you're a flag person, you don't have a gun. But
well, I mean, the challenges do kind of affect the gameplay too, but like how people are playing. Because again, there's been challenges for like get so many assists. I've seen people just not finish off their kills because they want to get assists, and it's just kind of weird. And some other things for like certain weapons and doing this. I'm not saying they're all bad or anything, but I do think that there needs to be tweaking. And again, they're listening, and I hope they implement the changes well, reasonably soon-ish. But like, you're right,
that's
Sean.
a weird one. Like you don't even have to try for assists. Most of the time, my kills
Yeah.
are getting stolen anyway. Usually, my assists are way higher than anything else.
No, and you're right. You're absolutely right. But I've seen that. I've seen that with
That
my own
seems weird.
eyes. Yeah. It's weird. You're right. But
But I mean, there's still good armor that's in there that's free, or like I bought the premium battle pass because like, hey, I'm not paying for anything else other than hey, I'm just paying $10 for, and that's what like most of the battle passes do in these types of like free to play games. And this one doesn't expire, so I don't know. I don't play too much like Apex or some of the other ones, but I know I guess some do expire, but I know this one obviously doesn't. So I mean, I get if you're not getting through it as quickly as you want to, but guess what? It doesn't go away, so you're eventually going to complete it. Like here in probably a few months, you'll be at that level 100, even if you are terrible. But I don't know. There was I think I forget his name on Twitter. I think it's Gene. I forget. He's a
Gene Park.
I know. Yeah, because he was going through it. And he was like I'm not amazing, but I'm pretty good, and I've been playing a bunch of hours, and I'm not like he was pretty far leveled up through the premium battle pass. So I don't know. He seems not having that much of an issue with it. I'm moving through it pretty quickly now that I understand with the challenges and how you can like swap out. There are certain challenges where I have to like in Fiesta for the samurai armor. I'm gonna try to swap it because it says I have to stop 4 killing sprees. So I'm like, I've done that a couple of times. I may have done it 4 times, but that one's gonna be a while probably before I stop 4 more. If I just happen to get somebody that's on a killing spree and I kill them, it's gonna be hard to seek. But stuff like that, that's the great thing is they give you, as you progress, you'll get a certain amount of cards that you can swap out certain challenges. So knowing how to do the challenge system, know which ones like, okay, I need to get some new ones in there because this one I'm not going to be able to do. Okay, let me complete this one that it can do. It's going to swap out some. Okay, now I got a swap card. Now I can swap out the one I don't want to attempt because it seems impossible for your skill.
Right.
I mean, it's not that hard, and the gameplay's top notch.
It is.
I've been playing ranked, and if you play ranked, if you're worried about like some people not wanting to do, no, I don't see anyone in ranked just kind of dicking around, like just doing the whole like I'm going to put my controller upside down. Those people are legit, and they're sweaty, and they will destroy you. So you got to be really focused. But there's a lot of hardcore, a lot of people that are more casual like that and don't take it seriously aren't playing the ranked match. They're playing Fiesta, playing the big team battle, or just the quick play. So,
well, I can say one thing about I like to play. For me, I play big team battle mostly, but I do go into ranked just every once in a while, just to see the sheer level of competition. And you could also find like I have crossplay enabled and everything, and yeah, you could really see the difference in how like they play and stuff like that. It's pretty impressive.
Like either way, guys.
There's a high skill set on Halo, just in general. I mean, I saw Dr. Disrespect. I was watching him play, and he usually dominates.
He smashed a controller over that.
Yeah, he usually dominates, but he was getting kind of handed to him. And yeah, so I heard he smashed the controller, but you could tell, there's a high bar for Halo. Always been.
Hmm.
He smashed his custom Doctor Disrespect controller. That made the news feed that I watch. I had to read that article, and it was all due to the aim. He is so against aim assist. It's not right.
Well,
But that's what he gets paid for, though, to cause a scene, just like Angry Joe. It brings in viewers. Headline.
it is part of the shtick. Like South has a point.
Exactly.
He is. Let me tell you, and South's 100% right. But he is funny to watch. I mean, you can tell. Like, I don't even know if that. Like, he's just in general, he's pissed off. Like, I've seen him like smile once, but he is usually just super. Like, I know that's part of his act or his persona. But I mean, when South when we were in LA, I don't know if you were with us. You were with us till we went to lunch, and after the lunch, you went off. I think with part of the crew, and I saw him, and he's a big dude, man. Like, and he looks like he's like he wants to smash people. I like honestly when I saw him, and it was ironic enough. Remember he got in trouble because he was in E3 and they had the camera in the bathroom where they were like bullying somebody. Do you guys remember that? And he got in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's also strong laws against having a camera in a private space like that, and he was
Right.
live streaming to Twitch, and it basically violated multiple Twitch rules along with it.
Right, and I saw him right before that, and it was just funny. I like he is just one of those guys. I have to say, his persona precedes him. Like he is definitely a messed up dude. Like he's like somebody like that's not playing with the full deck. But overall, though, he's very entertaining, and I might not like some of the things he does and stuff like that, but I do watch him for some of the parts. But it was just funny because usually seeing him dominate, like I mean, his crew, like they just like when they play other games, they just like they're really talented. But like with Halo, it was not going the way he wanted, man, and he was like, oh, I just got to get used to it. Got to get used to it. But yeah, he's definitely a character.
Yeah, no doubt. But either way, guys, like Halo's looking good. I'm excited, and the multiplayer is just gonna continue to kick ass. I mean, sure they need some tweaks, but either way, I'm totally pumped, and it looks like a majority of people here are as well. So again, only a couple of weeks away from the official launch, and yeah, it's looking pretty tight. Let's see here. If guys who are watching, tuning in, listening in, if you haven't already, definitely share this out, give it a thumbs up, and hey, sub to the channel if you haven't already. Moving over, we were talking about Game Pass, and it seems like Xbox Game Pass isn't eating away at Xbox Studios as many seem to suggest. And a few weeks ago, Xbox had Phil Spencer. Phil, he's a pretty cool guy. He spoke with Axios, stating that Game Pass is absolutely sustainable. General MLD, buddy, what's your thoughts on Phil's commentary? Because he really points out that Xbox isn't solely reliant on Game Pass to get by.
Oh yeah, I think in the interview he says it's sustainable at least 3 different times. I feel like he's plugged into what the community is saying on social media, and he's just putting out those false narratives and the haters that just want to see Game Pass fail. Because like I'm looking at this interview right now, he says absolutely Game Pass is sustainable. Then he goes on and say it's very, very sustainable right now and continues to grow. I mean, I can go on here, but it's like, let's say Game Pass wasn't wasn't by itself. I mean, okay, my point is, you got the whole ecosystem supporting it, but in addition to that, it's also by itself sustainable, which I think a lot of people wanted to know, and now they do know that. Because you got what? You got sales from the Windows Store, you got sales from Steam, you got sales from Xbox. You even got like evergreen titles like Minecraft pulling in revenue. Whatever money Game Pass was losing, I feel like the rest of the ecosystem picked up the slack. but I feel like it's at a point now where the subscriber count, those $1 deals are fading away. People are paying full price now. Like, I used to be a $1 subscriber, but those deals they don't last. Eventually, I'm being charged full price every month. I feel like enough time has gone by. Game Pass has been out for what, 4 years now, give or take? And I feel like there's really some genuine momentum now that it brings in the revenue that it can sustain its own deals. Like, all the games Game Pass gets, like, it's crazy. Like, so many indie games, especially. I wouldn't be surprised if these deals.
Remember back in the days when everybody was hating
Yeah.
against it, and you can't be the Netflix of games. Oh, it'll never last. It'll never last. And they doubled down on it. And now look at it. Now everybody wants to copy it. You know,
Exactly.
Amazon tried it, and what happened with them? They fell by the wayside. Sony, you hear rumors that they're going to do it. You know, and you catch all these ponies, you know, on their back heels, like, oh, but this, but that. And it's like, oh, come on, man. You guys really wanted to argue tooth and nail. Now what? Now what you got?
Yeah,
It's hilarious. It's hilarious. Game Pass is killing it.
In the beginning, like, yeah, he had some things here and there, like, oh, here's Sea of Thieves Day 1. Oh, here's Outer Worlds, Gears of War 5, Forza Horizon 4. But there wasn't a lot of in-between stuff. But now it's like every week, every month, a half month. We're getting so many games. Like, I would not be surprised if they use this subscriber revenue and reinvest it back into the industry. It's like this wheel. It just keeps turning on its own momentum. And it's just only getting better. I feel like with Halo Infinite, Forza, Age of Empires 4, they don't really. I am actually very curious how much adopted Game Pass on PC is. I really wish they could give us some numbers on that. Maybe they will. Maybe they will in January. But I feel like it's slowly but surely gaining steam on the PC platform, and that's just where it's really going to take off. That's just their biggest untapped potential. But finally, I mean, the haters, they want to see Game Pass fail. And I'm glad Phil Spencer repeatedly, because again, repetition is key. You got to keep hammering the truth in their faces until they stop these bad narratives. Game Pass is sustainable, as it is right now. And it's only going to go uphill from here, especially with all the Xboxes going this holiday. So they cannot repeat this thing enough.
You know what?
Preach it, brother. Preach it.
You know what the real reason why Game Pass is sustainable?
You're gonna say GameStop, huh?
No, Game Pass.
Be honest.
And the reason is because Microsoft says so. And what I mean when I say that is that we talk about, are the people at Microsoft, are they losing money? Or are these studios losing money? Trust me, once you work for Microsoft, you are paid well. You are paid in a lot of things like stock. So don't worry about the developers, their paychecks, unless they start complaining. And I've heard
they even get moving fees if they live out of state or out of out of the area.
And that's the thing, was that when you become an Xbox developer or whatever, and you work for Xbox, you become a Microsoft employee. So there's a lot of perks to it. But the point being is that really the only people affected by this or about sustainability is Xbox itself. And if they're footing the bill, it really doesn't really matter. We just play the games. And obviously you could see what they're building here. That's sustainable. What gaming?
Hey Timmy, remember when they were saying that Microsoft was going to sell Xbox to Sony or Apple, Amazon? Remember all those rumors that you would hear? This was like what 7 years ago. Oh yeah.
But
Microsoft wants to just divest themselves of Xbox. Yeah, they're not making any money. They're not selling anything. Look what happens now. It makes me laugh.
It is. It's a stock turnaround. But the fact is that Game Pass has always been a long-term play, and it's looking like it's going to be a real lucrative long-term play for them.
Plus, they can always just go back to the way things were. So they're not going to hey, we're going to close Xbox because our idea didn't work out. No, they own Bethesda. They're going to be one of the biggest publishers there is in the gaming industry. They could just lock it down, Xbox and PC. You want to play the next Skyrim or Elder Scrolls? Cool. Either you got the rig to do it, or you're going to buy an Xbox. That's a huge incentive. They'll be
Right.
okay.
But
That game. Go.
I just think the fact of the matter is that people who say Game Pass isn't sustainable are people that aren't playing it and they want it to fail because they don't like, for whatever reason, the industry taking that turn. The end of the at the end of the day, Sony's in the process right now of building their own Game Pass. You'll hear about it next year. So that's all you need to hear. That's all you need to say. And when they come out with their idea, and if it mimics Xbox, it's going to be so funny to see these people that are actively hating on it and trying to make it fail say, "Oh well, yeah, that's a great deal. I love it now." God of War, day one or whatever
Mhm.
this is the case is that. Yeah, they got something. They have something really good with Game Pass, and it's probably the number one reason why I think Xbox has gotten to where it's gotten at this point right now. Because without that, I felt like Xbox didn't have. They didn't have a focus. They didn't have a mission statement, and with Game Pass, I think that fulfilled Satya's desire for a service base, subscription type deal, and it also helped Xbox kind of get their games in check and look at themselves and say we have to provide content on a yearly basis, quarterly basis to year, and it's a huge reason for the Xbox turnaround. In my opinion, it's the number one reason.
What's also interesting is that xCloud is also tied to Game Pass. So the bigger xCloud gets, is also the bigger Game Pass will get. Because I think we're going to start to see some penetration in like markets like Japan, South Korea, Mexico, Brazil for xCloud with like the mobile devices or even on your PC browser. I feel like, yeah, if that gets people into Game Pass as well, then all the better too. Because every year that service is getting more and more reliable, more stable. Like they stock their server farms with Series X kind of specs now, so it's a lot more smooth. Like it's all working together. I feel like this took years in the making, and it's finally paying off. And it's going to be years before the competition can catch up to this level that Xbox is at right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's just like, again, I remember all the complaints back when, it's not going to be sustainable, Xbox is going to make no money, and they're proving everybody wrong. In fact, all their games are doing amazingly well. Again, I was commenting earlier how, like, there's been articles about Forza Horizon 5, right? Again, launching day one into Game Pass. You would think that nobody would buy it. No, they're making bank on that game, for crying out loud. It's really impressive the kind of numbers they're pulling in, and I don't think they've shared their Game Pass subscriber numbers recently, but I would bet you that they've increased dramatically, especially with all the crap that's been going on the past year or so. So
I think you need to worry about being sustainable was like Movie Pass, when it was like, hey, it's $10 a month and you can see a movie every day. That's not sustainable, and it finally shut down. See how that works? But see, this, they already have a business. They're trying a new idea. If it don't work, they're not shutting down. It's that simple. It's not hard.
No, that's right. You got that right.
If I could go ahead and make a comment on this whole conversation. So I don't really think Phil Spencer was directly wanting to correct the narrative of people on Twitter. There was a huge narrative coming out of gaming media and also gaming executives like, Sean Don't Let the Door Hit You on the Way Out Layden, coming out saying out in July that Game Pass are services like Game Pass are unsustainable due to the cost of development, claiming that releasing blockbuster titles via subscription models would require a ridiculous amount of subscribers to get a return. It's very hard to launch a $120 million game on a subscription service charging $9.99 a month. That is out of Sean Layden's mouth, and we all kind of see where he's sitting. Oh, that's right, at home. And the funny part is, Satya Nadella came out and said that people who subscribe to Game Pass are playing 40% more games. Subscribers are spending 50% more in the Xbox marketplace than unsubscribers. It's a win-win for Microsoft in the end, because people are paying a subscription service and they're taking the money that they're saving from said service and continuing to reinvest it into the ecosystem anyways. So it's a win-win. And I love how everybody always tries to come out, well, it's unsustainable. Look at Netflix. Netflix does not have a digital marketplace that they can use to find other revenues of income. Like, when was the last time you were able to go on to Netflix and buy an episode of the Witcher series? You can't. The minute you pay your little subscription service, your deal with Netflix is done. That's it. You just basically pay your subscription service, watch your movies, and leave. With Microsoft, you pay your subscription service. There's downloadable content that can go with these games that you receive a discount on. Some of these games, like Elder Scrolls Online, there's currencies that go with these games that you also receive a discount on. There's other games in the marketplace that are not part of Game Pass that people play. Like, look at Guardians of the Galaxy. I just bought that, not in Game Pass. There is multiple avenues for Microsoft to actually be able to recover some of the money that they have put into Game Pass. But Phil Spencer did come out and say that they're not spending all this like outrageous amount of money to get to some magical golden pot of gold at the end of a rainbow for Game Pass. I like what General MLD said. Phil Spencer said that Game Pass is sustainable multiple times. He's trying to correct the narrative that the gaming media is trying to push, because for some reason everybody gets up in arms like, oh my God, the devs, what about the devs? If the devs were not able to feed their families, they'd let us know. Everybody goes on social media and airs their grievances. Trust me, if there was problems with Game Pass, I'm pretty sure we'd see something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to say an example here. I mean, we all think Starfield next year is going to be a very, very ambitious game. To Sean Layden, it wouldn't be sustainable putting a game of that costly magnitude on Game Pass. But I can see it right now. It's going to be just fine. It's going to increase Game Pass subs. It'll get people in the service for the first time. But again, that's not the primary source of revenue. It's going to be bought on the Windows Store. I think on Steam alone, it's going to sell so much, it's going to profit on Steam alone. Never mind Game Pass. So I think, I think that's what sets them apart, is that they're willing to put the games day one on other platforms, whereas PlayStation, they're a little bit scared of that. Like, they want to put on console first, wait a few years, then put on PC. That's the difference. The fact that Xbox is doing day one is making the whole ecosystem sustainable because of its choice and options of how to consume your games.
So I see PlayStation or Sony actually doing something bigger with their version of Game Pass, because Sony has something to offer the consumer base that Microsoft cannot. And let's just accept it. Sony owns Sony Pictures, which is a really, really big entertainment, movie, and television production company. If they were to create a product like Game Pass, where you would get probably some games day and date, I don't know how hardcore they'd go on that. Hopefully they kind of try to match Microsoft. But they also have the ability to offer movies like HBO Max status in a subscription service that would be delivered to your console. And we're talking day and date movies, like out of the theaters, just like HBO Max. I just went and saw Ghostbusters Afterlife. People don't realize this, but Sony actually owns a fair amount of they bought Columbia Pictures. So they own the IP of Ghostbusters. That is under the Sony flag. I would totally be invested into a Sony Game Pass style subscription service, because they would probably more than likely not only offer games, but they're also going to be able to offer movies and entertainment, something that completely sets them apart from what Microsoft can offer their consumers.
Which is ironic, because that's what people hated about Xbox One, not prioritizing games. So We're gonna see some
Dude,
narrative shifts here.
dude, the narrative over at Sony is I've noticed with games lately with Sony is for you to have Sony's attention, your game needs to have relevancy either in the movie or television industry or at least some form of entertainment like comic books or pop culture. That seems to be like when we went to go see Ghostbusters Afterlife, the first preview right off the rip, Uncharted. I'm dead serious. And not only that, but the same actor who plays Spider-Man for the Sony movies is also playing Drake in the Uncharted movies. So he seems to be very comfortable over at Sony Pictures making multiple movies for them. Mike, they are totally focused on movies and entertainment over at Sony. It's just really funny that people haven't really picked up on this yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, well said, fellas. Well said. I mean, either way, guys, I mean, we can tell with our very own eyes that Xbox, like, Game Pass is doing very well. It's sustainable. Like many of you said, Phil's come out and just repeated it, trying to take out the narratives. Again, and it's not the only option out there. There's all kinds of different options for you. You can buy a game. You can, again, it's not like a big deal. Like, it's just, again, it's another avenue for people. I'm assuming a lot of them are going to be picked up with all the Xbox Series S's that just got bought through the holiday season, but I don't know, I see it as a good thing, and I look forward to what else is to come to the service and whether, other perks that come to it. Okay, guys, let's move on to the last topic for tonight, and let's talk about the hardware improvements that will be coming to Xbox Series consoles. Speaking with our friends over at the Iron Lords, Xbox's Jason Ronald said that they're going to work on the console's game DVR, which it could use some work, stating that it's a priority for the near future. Yeah, exactly, Shockley, exactly. And I'm sure a lot of us, we know. Centurion Pal, I know you're a fellow content creator. Obviously, content creators just don't use the DVR. A lot of people do, but content creators do make a lot of use of the DVR. We constantly make clips on the consoles, but what are your thoughts on this? Like, what do you have any suggestions for that? We could see improvements for the Xbox DVR.
We might want to start another show on this one. I don't know. I've got like a laundry list. I have had a love-hate relationship with the Xbox DVR for many years now, especially when it came to content creation. I used to use the DVR very heavily, and then as the DVR started becoming less optimized and more unstable, like you would start a recording, and it would instantly say recording captured, and it's supposed to record for an hour, and it hadn't even been 10 seconds. Yeah. The recordings would sometimes fault the USB sticks or a hard drive. I did have a 2 terabyte external hard drive hooked up to it to try to record like a lot of clips without having to remove it from the console. And there was times I would have to hook those drives and those hard drives up to my computer and repair them because there was something off with it, and generally that would fix the problems for a little while, and then it would come back. Definitely, I've heard a lot of complaints, especially from listening to Dealer Gaming. Shout out to him, really cool guy. He talks about how there's issues with the HDR, and I've ran into issues with the HDR. So all my recordings, I don't actually have the HDR going. I will be truthful on that because the HDR, for some reason, it even when I plug it into Adobe, the HDR just totally bogs Adobe down. There's something up with the HDR when you record it off of the Xbox directly, which made me get an external capture card, and I haven't had really any problems ever since I went to the external capture card, other than the HDCP support, which is high definition capture protection. It's kind of funny. So on my Series X, I do not have any apps on my Series X to watch Netflix, Vudu, TV, or movies. I don't use the Series X at all for that, because when you use those apps, it engages basically the copyright protection, so that way you can't record digital movies and start making your own DVDs and Blu-rays and fun stuff like that. And it literally stays on. You have to restart the console, or you have to do this weird thing, because on PlayStation, the HDCP toggle is like literally a checkbox. You go into the settings and you can turn it off and on. If you turn it off, it disables all the apps to watch television and movies. It lets you know that you have to turn it back on to use those apps. And I really think that feature about the PlayStation is actually pretty cool that they allow you to do that. On the Xbox side, you have to go into your power settings, and you know how you have instant on and power saving mode?
Correct.
For some reason, the HDCP is tied to that toggle. So if you have your console set to instant on, you have to toggle it to power saving mode to basically to get the HDCP to disengage. Or sometimes you have to flat out restart the console, because when you hook a capture card up to it, you'll get this black screen that all it says is 4 letters, HDCP, and it drives me nuts. I just really wish they would make it a little bit more user-friendly. Kind of, I hate to say it, I don't want them to copy PlayStation, but we're talking about a toggle here. I don't really see how that'd be a copy. It would just be more like making the feature more accessible to turn it off and on. Mm-hmm. But definitely, I'm glad to hear, especially listening to the Iron Lords podcast and hearing the executive over there saying that they're making this a priority. If you want to really see more improvements faster, be part of the Insider Ring. And that's where they're releasing some of these improvements right now to kind of test the waters as it is before they get put out into the public. But I'm glad to see that they're really wanting to focus on this. And at this point, I'm hoping that, remember the, my God, it's been so long, I can't even remember what it was called. It's like something studio.
Oh, Upload Studio?
Upload Studio. There we go. See, I never got to go use Upload Studio because by the time I started doing content creation, I was told to stay away from Upload Studio because it's an unoptimized mess. I really do hope that with them redoing the DVR, that they're going to start doing stuff like with Upload Studio again, and really making it to where a lot of people, whether they're streamers, content creators, or even casuals that just like to kind of show their gameplay on channels that they like to do, because I mean, it seems to be something that people do as a hobby, that they just want to show their gameplay. I hope they make it extremely user friendly on that level to really make the Xbox console kind of like a well-rounded machine.
I mean, one thought, we talked about this a couple of months ago when Xbox announced that they had bought the video editor Clipchamp. I know that it's more for PC, but I would love to see a lot of the tools moved over from Clipchamp and just have them like on the you could use use it on the Xbox. I think that would be fantastic. I mean, it would be leaps and bounds over what we had before, personally, and just be able to upload it to different, again, social networks as well. But yeah, like stuff like Upload Studio was really glitchy and unoptimized. It didn't support it very much. And then, yeah, with the Xbox Series consoles, even with just simple recordings, you can't record like maybe I think it's up to a minute, if I'm not mistaken, of video, or I think you can change the settings a little bit on that.
You could do a minute at 4K 4K standard. I think if you go to 4K HDR, it only does like 30 seconds. But with a USB stick, you can do up to an hour.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to keep up on the technicalities of that, but I mean, again, better editing tools would be fantastic. I'm happy that they're working on it, because that is something that PlayStation does do well. I mean, with just the ease of the uploads and some better quality in that way. So that was just something that surprised me when the console launched, especially being in such a digital age, right, Centurion, that that it would be in the state that it was. But I mean, overall, well,
even I thought it was unusual because at the time they owned Mixer, which was an upload platform. They see the popularity of YouTube. They see the popularity of Twitch. I don't see why this wasn't a priority a long time ago, but I guess if you really look at the grand scheme of things, they had to dial in updating the consoles. Like that was the first thing Phil Spencer did. 2016. We got the Xbox One S. 2017, the Xbox One X. Then they started working on Game Pass and xCloud. You could see kind of like where their priorities were, like on, I don't want to say bigger and better things, but more relevant things. And now I like what Jason Ronald said. They didn't have enough time in 2021 to prioritize the DVR, but definitely in 2022, it's going to be on the priority list for sure. And definitely with the way xCloud is getting, with more people starting to play and wanting to show off their gameplay, I feel like now is a really good time to actually start tackling this issue.
Agreed. Well said.
Mm-hmm.
And for somebody who I believe I said they had this, I had heard that they had a third party working on it. I was wrong. It seems like they're gonna do it, and if anybody can do it, that team is the backwards compatibility team, and their engineers and everyone is a great team to do it. So looking forward to seeing what they can do. And yeah, agreed. If you can have one legitimate gripe on the whole Xbox ecosystem, I kind of felt that the DVR was lacking. It was good at first, and it's really outdone by Sony. Does a really good job with their DVR. So even though it might not be the highest of quality, but the way they set it up, they're sweet, and the way it's handled is just better. So yeah, I think that this is something that Xbox can tackle and probably take a year or so, maybe by holiday 2022, they get a fully, obviously go into beta and alpha. But yeah, I have heard a bunch of stuff about this, but I guess I got my wires crossed, because remember they had hired a company that did DVRing, and I thought that they were tasked with that, but it wasn't the case. So just good to hear that we got to get an update, because you don't know how many content creators come to me and like, what's up with the DVR? It doesn't work. Dealer, him and Colt really, utilize Xbox tools, and they got to the point where they were like, they used to strictly do it off of the DVR, I believe. And they were like, screw this, and they got the Elgato, and they had to abandon it because obviously the channels are booming, so you can't have crap. But hopefully they get this going, and with Jason and the way they've been, I think that they'll handle it. It'll be a very good thing.
Mm-hmm. Well said, Tim. Anybody else have anything to add on this topic? No. Okay. All right, that's fair.
Oh, also put it on the home screen. I wish they would do that too, just so you can record it on the home screen, because you can do that on PlayStation. But that's a minor gripe.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a good point, Shockley. Yeah, just more options that way. All right, fellas, I think we're ready to roll out here and start closing things off. Hey, lots of fun tonight, fun chat, and great energy in the chat going on here too. We talked about the Black Friday deals and the Xbox Series S's success, as well Halo going gold, progression woes, and so on, plus much, much more. Definitely lots of banter. And to everyone that tuned in live, it was awesome seeing you all here. If you enjoyed tonight's offerings, and hey, drop a like, share this sucker out, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's move over to outros. Centurion buddy, I'll start with you. Where can everybody follow you at?
Well, for those interested, you can follow me at Centurion1307 on Twitter, Xbox Live, and of course, YouTube. You can find me every Saturday night on the Shop Podcast with the amazing gentlemen over there. And you can also find me every Sunday night on the TXR Podcast with these amazing gentlemen right here. And if I also may add, small shameless plug, I have been working with another member of the content community, and we're actually getting ready to start doing something together as friends. We kind of met on Twitter, and like literally I never thought in a million years I would be chatting almost every single day with somebody on the other side of the world, and it's a friendship that basically kind of bloomed into something bigger. And me and him are just now wanting to kind of start doing some content creation together. And so look forward to that. We're going to start hyping that out.
All right. Way to get people excited, Centurion. I'm looking forward to that. Moving over to Tim Dog, buddy. Hey, great talk tonight. Where can these fine folks follow you at?
You can follow me, xCloud Tim Dog, on Twitter, also on Xbox. Also, you can see me or hear me on podcast Sunday nights over here at TXR, and Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. on RDX. Big fan of the show. Happy that I can make it. Following a lot of stuff right now with baseball. I'm a big Mets fan, and hearing that they South, are you there? I think South fell asleep.
I think so.
He left the chat.
No, but no, they're signing somebody who I'm covering. I'm very passionate about sports too, so I'm following that. But great show tonight, and yeah, it should be a kick-ass week. We'll be next week. We'll be, I believe, 2 days away from the launch of Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing good things.
December
Maybe not
8th.
necessarily. Well, yeah, what were you going to say?
I was going to say December 8th, National Call Out from Your Job Day.
Yeah, you got that right. I haven't called in sick in a long time, but that might be the right thing to do. I'm only kidding if my boss is listening. But no, seriously, December 8th is going to be... I will have work, but I will come home and those will be the first thing I do. I'm going to be playing that game for hours. But really great show tonight. My buddy South, great to hear from you again, even though you fell asleep and left. Good show, guys. I see you next week.
Well said, Timmy. Moving over to Eric Shockley, buddy. Hey, love the chat tonight as per usual. Always insightful. Where can these fine people follow you at?
As always, yeah, you can find me at Shock Nero on Twitter, Easy Shock on Xbox Live. But yeah, great show tonight. Great topics. 1 week closer to Halo Infinite's campaign, so excited for that. But yeah, good show.
Well said. MLD, buddy. Hey, the general, always in the house, always gearing into the topics, and you did well, brother. Where can everybody follow you at?
Thank you. At MLD Ghost is my Twitter handle. Always active there, combating the narratives, promoting Xbox. Gamer tag is Ghost MLD. You'll see me playing various games, Halo, Forza, and tackling the old backlog. But it's all about just wait until that fateful day on December 8th, where I think all of us will be pretty excited to play that. So yeah, great show, guys.
Of course. Yeah, Southbound Left. You can follow him on Twitter at Southbound110. Always great to have him show up. Great, passionate fella. Going back on TXR. And of course, I'm Invader. And to finish this off, to finish off the group, you can follow my content over on YouTube at Invader Gaming. Also active on Twitter at Invader_1986. Good night, everyone. And hey, we hope to see you all here next Sunday. And yeah, I am counting down the days until Halo Infinite. The campaign is just in my hands.